Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you issue 3 of the Marvel Universe versus the Punisher while we jump into the demon slaying, heavy metal playing world of Doom Eternal. Alright, so we pick up right where we left off in issue number 2 with an infected Spider-Man holding the priest and the kid hostage. Frank so badly wants to put a bullet in Spidey, but that means sacrificing either the kid or the priest. You can't save both, and Frank's pretty okay with that. But what actually stops him is his curiosity. Why would Spidey suddenly reveal himself after years of hiding? Well, Spidey begins to tell his side of the story about how he formed his tribe and managed to take over Manhattan while driving the rest of the tribes out. In the final days of the war, there was one last massive battle between the Red Hulk's army, the Thing's tribe, and what was left of the uninfected heroes. The battle was chaotic and legendary. Those who didn't fall in the fight eventually fell to the virus. As Spidey tells more of his story, it becomes quite obvious that someone else is pulling the strings behind the scenes. That someone is nicknamed the King of Death. He's smarter than the others and has amassed an incredible army. Spidey reveals that the King of Death has returned to Manhattan and attacked Spidey's tribe while also stealing his mate. He wants Frank to get her back, and in return, Spidey and his tribe will leave Frank and the survivors alone forever. No more fighting, no more death. After some persuading from Padre, Frank sets out on his mission. He comes across Deadpool, Black Widow, and Scorpion, who have been sent by Spidey as backup. Frank's like, sweet, cannon fodder, and they carry on. Frank manages to track the King of Death back to his hideout and takes out the 4 crazies that are standing guard. Easy peasy, right? Well, it would have been if not for the trap that the King of Death set up. All hell breaks loose, with Frank and his team throwing everything they have at this mob of crazies. Frank eventually fights his way over to Spidey's mate, or, as we all know her as, Mary Jane. That's not the only surprise, as it turns out she's frickin' pregnant. That surprise is enough to drop Frank's guard, which in turn gets him knocked out by the King of Death. In the final page of the issue, the King of Death is revealed to be none other than the Kingpin. There we go. Issue 3 is in the books, and I gotta say, I enjoyed this issue. There are quite a few positives, but of course there's a couple negatives as well. One of the positives from the issue was they revealed more about Spidey's history. We saw him become one of the first infected, but until now we didn't see too much of him. I'm not surprised that all the bug kind of characters joined him, but it was surprising to see Tarantula getting taken out. You would think he would have been part of the tribe too, right? Also, how many symbiotes are in the background? I think I see 3. Venom, Scream, and another? Toxin maybe? Oh, speaking of symbiotes, I wonder what happened to Carnage. Could you imagine a cannibal Carnage? Oh man, that would be good enough for its own book. Another positive was the reveal that Kingpin is the King of Death. That wasn't a huge surprise, but it was still pretty great. Kingpin is one of Spidey's mortal enemies after all. It was destined to be Kingpin, and if not him, then for sure Norman. I'm actually a little surprised it wasn't Norman. Maybe it's too much of a cliche at this point, but still, he should have had his own goblin tribe or something. That would have been pretty cool. Speaking of cliches, of course, MJ was going to be Spidey's mate. We all saw that one coming. However, her being pregnant was a huge twist. That one blew my mind. It was shocking and a little gross. Look, I know he's not a zombie or whatever, but still, he's more beast than he is man at this point. That baby's gonna come out as a literal spider, mark my words. And since we're talking about horrifying, let's talk about Tony's death. Tony really thought he was going to be okay with his climate-controlled suit, but even that wasn't enough to stop the virus. That goes to show how little they understood about the virus. Even something sealed airtight couldn't prevent him from getting infected. Look, I don't know why this one sticks with me the way it does. It's not gruesome, it's not gory, it's just dark. Like being trapped in a suit of armor, not being able to move an inch is just a really, really bad way to go. Okay, now time to talk about something that I didn't really like. Let's talk about the art. This issue didn't really impress me like the last issue. The facial expressions were pretty goofy on some of the panels, and that kind of takes away from the tone of the book. There are 2 specific occurrences that stand out to me. The first is when Natasha is about to crush Madame Mask with a rock, and the second is when Coldheart gets her head chopped off by Deadpool. The expressions that they have on their face, it's just goofy, I guess. Also, what happened to the markings on Natasha's face? They were there when Frank met them in the alley, but during the ambush, they were suddenly gone. Look, I get comic inconsistencies happen, and maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit here, but it bugs me a little. Again, it's minor, and it's something I can look past. Like I said before, I'm just being nitpicky, because there wasn't that much wrong with this issue. I can say that the positives far outweigh the negatives. And with that being said, that's where we'll leave off. I hope you all enjoyed this issue as much as I have. How screwed do you think we'd be if Carnage got infected? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Later.